guys, welcome to the X Podcast for January 12th, 2015, guys. Lots of news to cover. I apologize for the podcast going up a day late, but, some things happened, college, and getting ready for that, as well as some things I didn't really foresee happening, and a few other tidbits that got in the way. There's a lot of gaming news, so I had to sift through that, and it's always fun. So we'll get into it with channel news, guys. The Wizard Punk SMP server is live for people to start making content. The first little bit will come out on Tuesday from all of the members. That includes a little bit of an intro, and I've got some gameplay, so you guys can get a sense of that. I talk about the pack. There's 88 mods in it. Now, in the description, I'd love to list all 88, but unfortunately I can't. I do have other stuff I want to go in the descriptions, and I don't want it to obviously spam it. So take a look. I'll hopefully post a paste bin in the description that lists every mod, but we do plan on releasing the Wizard Punk pack later on, so you guys can just download the pack all together and not have to get all the mods one by one. Definitely want to give a shout out to all the mod makers, because we definitely took them, put them all together, and are having some fun with them. We had to remove one mod that added hostile mobs to the game. Literally after the intro, guys, we got swarmed in an event, and afterwards with a bunch of mobs that we couldn't kill. There's way too many of them. I'll link that in the description down below. Obviously, we had to remove it. People weren't having fun. I'm hoping that right now we slow down on the mod adding, because I'd like the series to get started before we go all gung-ho and add, a bajillion more mods, because there's already 88, and I has to learn them. I've got a couple of ideas in terms of builds I'd like to do on the server. Obviously, when you think steampunk, you're thinking huge, massive airships. I'd like to do something like that, as well as like a dock or some sort of building to dock your airship in spawn. So look forward to that. I got a couple ideas ringing around the old head of mine, and we'll figure it out as we go. SMB is continuing to go strong, guys. We just recorded the amazingly epic UHC. You guys will want to watch that. That'll go out weekly on Thursday. So take a look around the channel, as well as all the other members. It was a ton of fun. Custom map made by Alan, and Dav ran the server, so those two weren't included, but they were kind of like unofficial referees / just people watching. They had a ton of fun. There is something I actually just got into contact with Impulse about, and I'll be working on it in the background. I don't really want to draw too much attention to it, but I'll be working on the SMB Live Reddit from time to time, and over the next couple months, I'm hoping to actually get that thing running. So if you're a fan of the SMB server and the crew, you can go there and communicate in more characters than you could on Twitter. So definitely look forward to that. It's my first time customizing Reddit, so it'll take some time, but I'm willing to put the time in and learn. It's all a learning process. I used to code for websites, my own actually, so I think it should be okay. Building progress on the tree is going steady. I haven't really done anything to the tree since working on the farm, which was actually last episode, guys. So if you want to check that out, definitely head on over to the channel and check out that. We're working on an automatic / not automatic farm where I can just grow some crops and be a little bit more self-sufficient instead of having to rely on the gold base as much as I have been. KSP is returning to the channel, probably as a weekend series. The Race to the Mun, I guess, didn't really happen, but I'm going to continue with it. Episode 7 will go live on Saturday, which was a ton of fun to record. So I'm going to continue that as a standard series on the channel. The KSP community is just as dedicated as the Minecraft community is. And if you guys haven't seen any of the stuff they do some amazing work with builds and spaceships and space stations and bases on different planets, and just missions to the far out solar system. So I'm looking forward to that. And that'll kind of tie into the SMB build with the solar system, hopefully. I don't know yet. I'm working out a design in my head, and I actually drew out a little bit today on a piece of paper while I was in class, and that I cannot wait to get started on that. It should be fun. Unfortunately, I have some sad news, and I guess I'll touch upon it a bit. I don't want to go too into detail because it's what's in the past is in the past, and you can't change things. I have left Maplecraft and the Feudal Pack for different reasons, I guess. Some things came up, and I didn't appreciate it or didn't need it, so I said, you know what, time to just, kind of brush my hands off, say my goodbyes, and leave the server. I talked to Tidy. I think we're on okay terms, but definitely not what I had planned. I had planned to stay on the Feudal Pack and Maple. I wanted to release another video, at least to say goodbye to the community, but unfortunately that won't be happening now. And I'm not going to go into detail because I don't think it's warranted, and I don't need the drama. So good luck to all of those on that server and playing that pack, because I'm sure you guys will do some great things. Great things. Minecraft news. Minecraft Pocket Edition has sold over 30 million copies. 30 million downloads on the Pocket Edition of Minecraft. That's insane, guys. That's insane. I tried. My nephew was over with the Pocket Edition. I tried playing it and I couldn't. It was just incredibly difficult coming from the PC edition to the Pocket, and I was just like, I can't do this touchscreen thing, moving my fingers around, and I felt like I was relearning Minecraft, and I was like, If you guys are playing that edition, if you're playing the Pocket Edition, let me know in the comments, and if you could take a picture, let me see what you're building, because it's definitely different, and maybe even a little bit easier to create things. I don't know. Not create things easier. I don't think it would be. But if you got anything cool to show off, definitely link it to an Imgur or whatever down below in the comment section, and I'll take a look. Definitely. Name changes are planned to come February 4th. That was tweeted, or actually on Mojang's website. So hopefully on the February 4th, unless things happen, things do happen. If you're not happy with your Minecraft name, you can change it. So obviously, if there's a paid account and has that name, you won't be able to get it. But if the account isn't there and the name is free, you'll be able to change it. So good. I know there are a lot of people that are probably not happy with their Minecraft names, just because they made it out of a whim, or they did it when they were younger, or the character they don't associate themselves with anymore. So definitely cool news. There's a bunch of complications with it. Obviously, that's why it's taken so long. But good on Mojang. I don't think I plan on changing my name, but definitely a cool feature for those who need it. Gaming news. There's been a bunch, guys. So I've kind of picked out the biggest ones, and then the last one we'll talk about is we'll be ending the cast with, because there's not really any more releases. I kind of went over those in the last couple episodes. But Nintendo is halting console and software distribution in Brazil. Now, if you guys don't know this, Brazil, for gaming or for any product, I think, levies a huge tax on anything that's not created in Brazil. They obviously do this to bolster their own economy and their workforce, and to promote products made in Brazil, which I get, and the only other side is the citizens, the people that live there, are kind of get the short end of the stick in terms of technology, gaming especially. So Nintendo will end its distribution of hardware and software in Brazil due to the high import tariffs. Sony released the PlayStation 4 in Brazil, and it was $400. It's $400 for us to buy. In Brazil, with the tariffs and the taxes, it's approximately $1,800. That is insane. How are you supposed to buy a console, let alone game on it, if you're paying $1,800 just to get a PS4? So, gaming companies obviously are re-evaluating the distribution of Brazil. They do have a company there that still makes, like, I think Genesis stuff. But it kind of sucks for the Brazilian gamer, and it's not something you should definitely blame these companies for, because it's the government that's kind of imposed these tariffs on companies. So sucks for the Brazilian gamers, but companies have to do what they got to do, right, to make bottoms end. They're not going to ship a bunch of units that are just going to sit and collect dust when they can allocate those to, say, Europe or North America, or now China, which has just opened its doors for gaming consoles, which is going to dwarf the American market very soon. I think the report was that it's like a year or two out from dwarfing it. So maybe we see some games developed by Chinese developers, which kind of be cool, because we haven't really seen many. Just a different take, because a lot of games right now are focused and developed for a Western mind, whether it be Europe and North America, but we're not really seeing anything developed for a different demographic over in the other side of the world. So if they could bring their own stories, definitely more power to them. Look forward to it. Internet Archives, guys, this is amazing. So this is great for us old school gamers. If you guys don't know, Internet Archives are the guys that release the 900 coin-based arcade games on their website, just to archive them, because the boards are getting old. The people don't want to. Some people don't archive them; they just keep them for themselves in their basement, and they're getting trashed. But this is fantastic. Internet Archive releases 2,300 MS-DOS games for free. For free. You can go play them on Internet Archive. I'll put a link in the description below. So just months after making 900 coin-operated arcade games from the 70s and 80s available, now Internet Archive releases 2,300 classic MS-DOS games, all playable in your browser. You don't have to download anything. It uses EM-DOSBox. You just hit spacebar, it boots it up, and you're playing basically in your browser. You can do full screen, and there's tons and tons of classic games there, guys. So definitely check it out if you're an old school gamer. If you can remember MS-DOS command prompts, I was sitting at work and on my break, and I showed this to my friend, and we tried to play cross country Canada, and it was like we were a trucker, and I had to put these prompts in, like / refill / D, and it was crazy. It's not standard controls for a lot of the games because they're all command prompts, but some games do have point and click stuff. So definitely check it out if you're interested in gaming history, just to see where we've come from. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to know where you came from. And this industry is still in its infancy, and you should definitely take a look at what us in the 80s, 90s were playing. Harmonix is in the news with Rock Band 3 DLC. This comes 2 years after the last DLC was released, and it's releasing songs from the Foo Fighters, Arctic Monkeys, and Avenged Sevenfold. This is awesome to see. Harmonix did Rock Band. Obviously, it's a music peripheral game that a lot of people loved back on the last generation, and it's nice to see them releasing music today. Each song goes for, I think, $1.99 American, 99 euros in the UK, or sorry, is that pounds? I don't know. and €1.49 per song. Just go do your conversions on Google. $1.99 American. So good to see them doing that. Hopefully we see more coming down the line, but it is a fairly old game by today's standards. It's kind of sad to see that the music peripheral game kind of went and died with the 360 and PS3 generation. Haven't seen anything. There's nothing in the news for the PS4. Obviously, there was that Fantasia game for the Xbox One, but that was more of a just kind of standing there, moving your arms around, kind of a Kinect game. So nothing to the extent of a Rock Band or a Guitar Hero anyway. Activision, I think, killed Guitar Hero with the iterations that they kept putting out, but I don't think Harmonix did the same thing. We'll move on and end it with the Japanese console market now, guys. Japan, it's not been as big as it was back in the 90s and even early 2000s. It just seems like that market is now just moving towards mobile. The console market there is kind of dead. And it's sad to see. I've got two sales numbers that you can basically, when you're looking at Japanese gaming sales, it's Media Crate and Famitsu that you're going to look into and see if there's any discrepancy, because there might be unit fluctuations. But we're going to go with Media Crate right now. The 3DS you can see is a powerhouse with 153, almost 160,000 units sold. That's still down from last week and down overall, I believe. The Vita only sold 58,000. The Vita is not doing great. Sony really botched the PS Vita in terms of pushing games onto it, pushing marketing with their own memory cards that cost an arm and a leg. They could have just put a standard SD card in there and potentially ran away with the market, because that thing's powerful. It's got a nice screen, great button layout, second analog, digital media. The only thing that's really holding it back is games and the memory sticks. The memory cards, I think, for 16 gigs are like over $100. It's insane. The PlayStation 4 also not doing too well in Japan. 42,000 units sold. That's up from last week, but still not good. That's crazy when you think of American sales and global sales of the PS4. We're sitting at 18.5 million PlayStations sold in the world, and Japan is lagging behind. Just, I think, Lifetime now at 1 million units. So very, very giant discrepancies in the console sales. The Wii U been out for 2 years now. 30,000 units sold, and they had a killer year. Bayonetta, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart. What else came out for the Wii U? A bunch of games, and just not selling. The interest is not there. And we go to the Xbox One. Microsoft has never, ever had a great time in Japan in terms of sales. The Xbox One only sold maybe a couple 100,000 units. 360 the same. Xbox One not doing too well. Last week, the week of December 29th to January 4th, sold 637 units. That's it. Last week, the week before, they sold 1,162. It's just insane. Japanese gamers, I don't think, and I don't know why this is, they don't buy the Microsoft products. Now, I'm not saying the 360 was bad. The Xbox One is bad. But they just don't buy it. Maybe it's because it's big and bulky and they don't have the space. Maybe they're really into Japanese console manufacturers. It's just a very different beast. And Microsoft still hasn't cracked the code. I mean, last gen, they helped fund Blue Dragon and a bunch of other JRPGs to see if they could capture this, but seem to never gain a foothold on Japan. They keep releasing the console there. to see if they can sell it. There's obviously a small fan base to date. Life to date, Sony's sold 1 million PS4s there. Microsoft has sold 43,000 units. It's not good. Obviously, I don't think the Xbox One was a launch day and day with North America and Japan. I think they were a year later, but it's still not good. Microsoft's got to crack that somehow, or at least somebody's got to ignite the console sales in Japan. I don't know how it's going to happen. The 3DS is even down year over year. And it's sad because the Japanese market and developers are hurting. And that's who feels it the most, I guess. Not the Western developers, because Activision can release a Call of Duty and sell a bajillion units. Bethesda, even Microsoft with their own first party here in the States and Canada will sell a bajillion units. But in Japan, it seems like Capcom's doing bad. Konami's doing all right. Metal Gear sells well here in the West. Nintendo's doing good. They've got their war chest. Sony's doing great now because of the PlayStation division. It's the only one that probably makes money for them. But all these Japanese developers that make, these, the only thing that seems to sell in Japan is Pokemon and Monster Hunter. And they're on 3DS. And Animal Crossings. But a lot of people nowadays, like 2 years ago, a couple years ago, we were saying, oh, the PC market is dead, blah, 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 blah. That came back because of Steam and all of these great digital distribution methods. And PC gaming is bigger than it ever was. But there's something still to have an experience of sitting on your couch with a controller, with friends around, and playing on a big screen. RPGs or something that just fun to sit on the couch. I'm not saying the PC gaming is bad. I love it, obviously. I do this on YouTube, and I have tons of games on the PC, but there's something special about a console experience, and it's something you can't get on a PC, and vice versa, really. Without playing console games, you're missing out, and without playing PC games, you're missing out on a lot of great content that is only made for those specific platforms. Nintendo games you could only find, Sony first party, even some Microsoft first party, even though they own the Windows OS, you can only find on a console. And I get the hate for some reason. PC is always going to be a little bit more powerful. I'm going to focus my camera here. And you can pump in new graphics cards, more RAM, something you can't do with a console game. But those things are designed in a way that you're not really losing out on anything, because the OS is small and the games are tailored and coded specifically to run on that hardware and not have stuff running in the background. So they run at, 70, 720, 60 frames a second. Pretty solid. So it's sad to see that the gaming console market is kind of going downhill in Japan. Europe is still a big market, kind of fading on Nintendo, but Sony's doing well there. North America is still a huge market. China is a big market, or will be in the next couple of years. And that is it with console gaming news. In terms of releases, guys, Dying Light is coming out in January 27th. Dynasty Warriors 8 is coming out as well. Grand Theft Auto 5, Grim Fandango, and Life is Strange Episode 1. Guys, that is it for releases this month. We'll be back with releases next month. And remember, if you have any questions, have anything you want me to cover in the podcast, leave it down below in the comment section of either SoundCloud or on the YouTube channel. I'll see you guys next time on the Axed Gaming Podcast. Take it easy.